Hello friends, this is Cold Run. Welcome back to a blind playthrough of Final Fantasy XIV's Dawntrail expansion. This music, I don't know what effect that is, but it has that same muffled effect as you hear with the Garlemald anthem on the the radio sort of thing. I don't know what to make of it. Otherwise, it sounds like lo-fi beats to Lalafell by. Erenville. Erenville is conflicted by this long-faded reunion, gone and forgotten. Let's hear what she has to say. Since it's starlight, I'm going to assume this is a cup of mulled cider. Kafkiwa, it's so wonderful to meet you all. And the students of Baldessian, it's been a while since I heard that name. Dare I ask the reason for your appearance? Oh, this is just a body that I control remotely. I use this for operations. I wasn't expecting that. I thought she had died and she was in the cloud. So where is she actually? We're members of a resistance organization, Oblivion we call ourselves, and our goal is to thwart Zeralja's ambition for conquest. So are you going to give me another story of... No. I was going to say, is she going to give me another story about Sphene, but Sphene isn't the kindly whatever you think she is, but Sphene told us to come here. So Sphene must be in on it. As the leader, it's prudent I remain where I can't be easily found. I see. Whimsical appearances notwithstanding, yours is a serious cause. Kafkiwa, right you are. Though truth be told, Oblivion was founded for an altogether different purpose. Oblivion's kind of a... I don't know, usually if you're a rebellion, you call yourselves Freedom Freers for a Freer Tomorrow, and Oblivion is like a dark name. Why would you call yourselves Oblivion? Grahatia, and that is? As expected, you've already noticed, everything you see within this dome, the buildings, the people, the very earth beneath our feet, is a fusion of two worlds. Stopping such a fusion was Oblivion's original mission. Kryl, then does that mean you know who or what is responsible for it? Kafkiwa, I'm afraid not. This was a long time ago, and our mission statement has become more of a legend that's passed down to members. By the time we joined, our sole objective was stopping Zeralja. So it's that's an interesting evolved mission. But we failed to do that, and now he's taken his army outside the dome. I mean, how big is your resistance? Wuklamat, none of you wear those strange devices on your heads. Does that have something to do with your work? Oh, was that one of them? Yeah. You mean this? It's a regulator, the pinnacle of electrope technology, and that we don't wear it is indeed related to our operations. What exactly does it do? Geode. Allow me to... So instead of being high-tech, their names are literally natural. Geode, Sphene, they're part of the Earth. Regulators have two primary functions. The first, as the name suggests, is the regulation of the wearer's reserve of souls. Should they die, the regulator expends a soul to bring them back to life. Where do they get these souls from, dare I ask? Reserve? You mean people walk around carrying spare souls? They do. Souls are packaged in cells, and they can be used to replenish the life force that is lost due to sudden death, such as in accidents. They do nothing for those who die of old age, though. I mean, it seems great if you have, like, impossible souls, if you have, like, soy-based souls, but I'm guessing you go straight for the cow, for the human. Distribution of soul cells is based on one's work evaluation. You know what this is? I've been calling this sci-fi. This is steampunk. This is straight up steampunk at this point. One of those situations where the technology has advanced, but the, but you know, it's not like, but you're not post scarcity. Like there's technology has advanced, but society and culture and justice is stagnant. To encourage exemplary performance when fulfilling their duties. Yep, this is Amazon healthcare. So souls are a common resource and payment for services rendered. That is bleak. That is bleak as heck. Is steampunk the term? No, not steampunk, is it? Cyberpunk, I apologize. Cyberpunk is what I mean. The void sent practice of consuming others for their ether comes to mind. And similarly, I expect the act comes with some risk. So are they, because in the void sent case, they were like conscious. They were like aware of you, part of you. That 4 music coming in. I love this patch so much. This whole patch cycle. I mean, the 14, the and the Shadowbringers, or sorry, the Endwalker post-patch stuff with Zero. I really love that stuff. Wouldn't the consciousness of others corrupt your own? Or yeah, doesn't it dilute your sense of self? Though I'm less worried about you and more worried about the other people sharing you. But were they conscious in the 13th? Like, were they aware, like, just like a passenger? Like, were they in the sunken place? That is prevented through memory management, a process in which regulators also play a role. Memory management? Then the reason everyone has forgotten Namika's existence... Yep. Weirdly enough, that's actually a little bit better. It's not just... because it prevents the dilution of self, which is presumably a good thing. But it also depends on what those who get sucked out of your brain are feeling, and how much the people who get it sucked out of their brain consent to that. The regulators are consistently recording the memories of their wearer, so if they should suddenly die, the memories can be refreshed as part of the restoration process. This is, yep, this is horrifying. This is scary as hell. This is how they preserve one's identity and sense of self. However, the regulators are also triggered when someone else dies. Reason being is that regulators forcibly extract memories relating to the deceased from anyone wearing one. Why would they do such a thing? Kafkiwa, it's a kindness bestowed upon the people by Everkeep's core system, Everkeep, so that no one has to suffer the pain of loss. Even the name is as conservative as it gets. Not like American political conservatives, just the name is like, we don't want any change. We're Everkeep. We keep it the same forever. This is a kindness. So this is what is meant by the memories being in the cloud. Hold on, let me read that once more. It's a kindness bestowed upon the people, so no one has to suffer the pain of loss. Yeah, no, it's just straight up bad. Indeed, all memories of the deceased are wiped from the minds of the people and archived in the system. I'll say, this is horrifying for anyone. When, particularly in Judaism, this seems like an especially horrifying act. When you die in Judaism, when you die, the belief in Judaism at least, or it's complicated and I don't know a lot about it, but the belief as far as I understand it is that there's not necessarily a heaven or hell to the same extent there in remotely the same way there is for, you know, Christianity, Islam, a lot of faiths. Instead, it's just not a focus. But what you'd say to someone or about someone who dies isn't like, may they rest in, you know, they're in heaven now. It's just that you wouldn't say that. You'd say they're a blessed memory now. Like, that's how you honor someone. And that's the value that they often will have. It's not the value they'll have, but that's the thing to comfort someone, is not forget about it. It's their blessed memory. No blessed memories here. They're all wiped from the system. It's a frightening function of the regulators and an integral step in soul cell production. Splat, dead. Sample J. Exampleton has died. You see, when a person dies of natural causes, their soul is temporarily housed within the regulator. Awesome. This is the start of something that could be really good. Give it to Nidana. It's then delivered to a facility where memories are separated from the soul. So that person dies, their memories are taken to one place, and their soul is taken elsewhere. The soul is the energy, the memories. I'm curious what'll happen with the memories. The result is a fresh soul cell, free of impurities and ready for distribution and consumption. Consumption. Not the soul eater I love. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. This is like a little one-up sign comes in. You get an extra life. I'm pumped. I ate grandma. Oh boy. Mano Manischewitz. Meanwhile, the memories are stored in the core system to be remembered forever. And this is not just... one smaller question about the memories. So, are the memories... Are the memories then that person's memory of their life? Or are they a combination of that person's memory and everyone else's memories relating to them? I guess, like, if your math teacher dies, you don't forget the math, you just forget who taught it to you. It was just someone, I don't know. And what if that person if a person has, like, Alzheimer's or some other, like, memory... Alzheimer's a disease or a disorder? I don't know. Disease, I think? But if someone has Alzheimer's, like, are their memories, like, that much weaker? And this is why people are happy here. On the surface, it's similar to the Yokhui philosophy, but I see nothing noble or comforting in it. You remove the need for comfort, and you remove any growth or value and you get from needing that comfort too. Well, it doesn't seem so terrible to me personally. All comes down to what you're used to, I suppose. Like the barrier encasing Alexandria, this system was created to overcome the calamity that transformed the world hundreds of years ago. That's true. I mean, I'm talking about the value of being able to grieve. There are definitely cases where that grief can be so much that I would understand individuals, not as a society, but I would understand individuals opting out of it for the sake of their health, for the sake of their ability to actually live. Amidst the mounting death toll, scientists used Electrope to devise a means to save what lives they could so that the nation could endure. And that's right, and it was a byproduct. The goal was not to prevent... Well, the goal was to save lives here, and that is noble. I'm sure they had good intentions at the start. Maybe even has good intentions now. But it sure seems like it's likely to be corrupted. I understand the people of Alexandria did what they believed was best to save their people. I just find it hard to believe that Torali would also accept this way of living. Kavkiwa. It came as a shock to us as well. In fact, a great many were opposed to... I was going to say, is that why you're called Oblivion? But no, it's almost the opposite. Because you'd be saying... You'd be called, like, anti-Oblivion. You'd be all about, like, persistence and memory, not the absence of things. Which is why the use of regulators was never compulsory. Oh, good. The people have always been free to go without them if they wish. So the people we've seen have just been those who are really bought into the system. Sphene didn't strike me as the sort of ruler to impose her will on others. Ah, so you've already met. She's also the one who suggested that we come to the Thunder Yards in the first place. She's also said she wants to help us stop Zoralja. Awfully kind of her to point you in my direction, and to speak so candidly as well. So, even you feel sus of her, even you're not sure about her. Whatever her motives, she has given the people a choice: live with the risk of true death, or the security of the regulators, which I actually really like that. Because there is, it's a choice I would advocate against, but as long as the people know what they're getting into, then I think, maybe there is, if both the people being sacrificed and the people who are receiving the benefits of the sacrifice know what they're getting into, and they're signing on for it, it's something that I think I would, in general, I would feel really uncomfortable with, but I could see that as being ethical. Everything that lives must someday die. That is the natural order of things. I mean, they're not fighting that natural order. People are still dying. It's just a... Yeah, I don't think they're stopping death forever. Quite right. But however you feel about them, it would be easier to understand what the regulators are capable of if you saw it for yourself. Like, the death is natural thing is like, that's an argument on its face against medicine. Like, that's against all sorts of things. And I think there's a large gray area beyond, between that sort of... But that's not what he meant. He doesn't mean against medicine. I'm being uncharitable in my reading of Aaronville there. I know just the person to show you, and as luck would have it, they should be starting work right about now. Who are we going to see exactly? Come with me and you'll find out. Come with me and you'll be in a world of dystopian imagination. Also, Pythos reminded me what Solution 9 from Final Fantasy 9 was, and why I didn't remember it. And apparently it was one of Zidane's trances. And boy, did I hate the trance system in that game. Kavkiwa, everyone here? Good. It's the responsibility of the Thunder Yard's hunters to fell any fiends found wandering the area. We're to meet an acquaintance of mine, Strika, one of these hunters. By the way, I have my Starlight Chocobo out here. Look at that little bonnet. What a cutie. The musical choice is interesting too. Like, I've talked about how this feels like a more upbeat electronic thing, when in the, what was it called, the Earth in Storage or something? Earth in Sky, the music was... It had an electronic feel to it. It did have that lo-fi feel to it, but it was much cooler. Like less high upbeat. It was lower to the ground. Strika, sorry, itchy nose. I like your ponytail. Kavkiwa, what are you doing here with so many friends? Apologies for the interruption, but I was hoping they might observe you at work. Hunting, you mean? That's fine, I guess. Hold on. I assumed they were wearing special regulators like Queen Sphene's crown. Her crown is a special regulator. What makes it special? Can she not be vacuumed up? Well, her memories is like maybe she can use souls, but she won't get memoried. I don't know. I wonder. They aren't wearing anything at all. It's much too dangerous to be here without one. What if they're struck by lightning or attacked by beasts? Kafkiwa, I can assure you they're all quite capable of looking after themselves. If anything should go amiss, I will take full responsibility. Well, don't say I didn't warn you. Danger aside, there really isn't much to see. So there's not necessarily a stigma against it. She's not like, oh, you are the unregulated ones. Heresy. Like, no, she's just, are you sure? It's like someone who's swimming without a life jacket. Uklamant, Kafkiwa said you're a hunter, but wouldn't it be easier for those mechanical soldiers to guard this place? Well, it would, but if not for the fact that they're weak to lightning. The Thunderyard being what it is, they've been ordered to steer clear. It seems like a flaw in the engineering in a place like this for them to be weak to lightning, but maybe there's no way around it. Some good they are, eh? But these facilities are vital to the upkeeping of Alexandria's infrastructure, so it falls to hunters like me to deal with any fiends. Given the danger, we're well compensated for our work. It's a perfect profession for anyone looking to build up savings. The special selection of souls for hunters isn't terrible either, so you get perks, you get extra souls. Kafkiwa, I brought this lot here to see the danger you speak of, if it's not too much trouble to ask. Ah, of course. In which case it'd be a shame to waste my efforts on just any old beast. You can all handle yourselves in a fight, right? If you cause a ruckus slaying what critters you see nearby, there's a chance you'll draw out something worthy of a demonstration. Kill 3 squirrels and the mother squirrel will come out. That's what I learned as a kid. I'm not sure I understand, but I suppose we should each slay what we can. Killed a couple of smaller bolt hounds, and now do we have Bolt Mom coming? Is that like a Catablepus? Yeah, it's a little Catablepus. Don't look at it. This one will do nicely. What weapon is that? Are you a monk? I mean, not a monk, but you're like a pugilist, a fighter, a puncher. We'll help you. A high-tech puncher. Oh, that looks like a cool monk weapon. That's fine, really. I've faced worse. Just watch. Just watch? Have you never fought a Catablepus? I don't like the looks of this. Let's help. Oh, no. Look out. We're going to actually watch her get resurrected. So does it like restore... Does it restore broken bones? Does it... How much to health? Does it just bring you back to the edge of life and you're just in agonizing pain? Does it cure your acne? Does it just draw the line at the most serious injuries? What is it? Huh. You know, the Catablepus is still probably there, ready to kill you again. We should probably do something before it does that. The shocked cat. Well, that was embarrassing. Bastard caught me off guard. Are you mad? Seriously, let us help. Yeah, this is like a bruise for her, but a bruise you have to pay for with souls, but yeah. Told you not to worry. This will only take a moment. She unleashed her inner beast. She just uppercutted cow into the sky, and then, oh my, this is amazing. If I can do that to a cow too, regulate me up. Just like Zoraal. Come on, let's get out of here. It's also nice to know that it's not like she's now bloodthirsty. Like, it seems like it hasn't altered her personality. It gave her more energy, but it didn't make her different. Like, it gave her more strength without changing her ethics or personality or brainwashing her or anything like that, at least from what we just saw. That's also a function of the regulator. There's really a lot to be said for the regulator, despite the... Like, it's an interesting ethical quandary, isn't it? At least in better hands it would be. Not necessarily in better... Because, again, this isn't necessarily the evil empire just yet. Zoralja's a bad actor, but... I think I understand now how Zoralja was able to return from the dead and defeat Papa, but I'm not sure what we saw at the end there. As soon as the regulator turned red, it was as if you were possessed. Your movements became beast-like. They did, but I don't think they looked possessed. I thought you... Oh. Okay. Don't tell me you've empowered yourself with the soul of a beast. I'm reminded of the serpentine soldier we encountered at Vanguard who did the same. So, like... If I empowered myself with Pigeon's soul and I took a fatal blow and it cranked up red, then like I would bounce up and then like, I don't know, meow a bunch and go sleep in like a heated bed. Like it gives you like a little burst of that personality too, of that same energy of the thing. But with the snake one, it fully transformed it. With you, it was more restrained, and with Zoraal, it was more restrained. So you've crossed paths with one of the King's elite. Such a form can only be achieved from gorging yourself on souls. Okay, that explains it. And she looked sad when she heard it. We could do the same in theory, but it's incredibly dangerous. Besides, it's not as if they'd allow hunters to carry that many souls to begin with. So, animals have souls too. Sentient, I guess, is it just sentient beings that have souls? Like, is there a lower limit? There's got to be. There's no, like, you won't have just an ant farm that just lets you breed souls. And how many you're allowed to have and which kinds you're allowed to have is regulated too. As well they should be. Like, even the society that allows this, like, you'd want to regulate that sort of power the way we would any other sort of... I mean, God, I mean, imagine integrating this into a society. There'd be business, there'd be economic elements to consider, there'd be ethical ones, medical ones, military ones. There's so much that goes into this. Well, I should be getting back to work. Take care. Okay, goodbye. And there you have it. Regulators can be loaded with two kinds of souls, those of people and those of beasts. The souls of people can be used to grant the user preternatural strength. Naturally, they can also be used to ensure no one suffers an untimely death. And what about the souls of beasts? They work in much in the same fashion, imbuing with the strength of the chosen animal. Wait, so the beasts ones are just for strength and the people ones are just for, like, life? Souls of people can be used to grant... Wait. The souls of people can be used to grant the user preternatural strength? No, so they both grant strength, just different kinds of strength. This is... The beast one is specifically the strength of that animal. If, for example, you use the soul of a wolf, you'd grow more agile and feral, as you saw with Strika. Using several of the same type at once, however, would result in physical changes. Your teeth might become fangs, your nails claws. Too many and you'll become more beast than man. Some people would pay good money for. Changing one's form through the souls of other beings, it becomes more and more reminiscent of Void Scent. Yet unlike the Void, where the cycle of death and rebirth is simply broken, souls here are forcibly taken before they might reach the ethereal sea. Different means to achieve similar ends. Forcibly taken implies a lack of consent, which is true for... I'm wilded out that beasts have souls. That's a mind trip here too, but for let's ignore that for the moment. People, it's not necessarily being forcible. It's forcible, but not necessarily non-consensual. A cycle to which all within the dome are bound. They choose to be, they can be bound by it, but they're not. A cycle to which some are bound. But we haven't seen, to be fair, we haven't seen any not unregulated folks integrated within within mainstream Alexandrian society. I think once I see that, I'll be more on the side of team regulator. Before then, I'm reserving judgment. This is wrong. It's all wrong. It is indeed hard to accept being so far removed from our own beliefs. Like, it's far removed from our beliefs, but take the Team Sadhu. I don't remember their names, but the Sadhu tribe. Like, if you give their beliefs pretty full respect, they're saying that they're not bound to the return to the ethereal sea either. That a part of them carries on and stays on and empowers the person that is born with their soul in a, or it really is there. I don't know if it is or empowers, but they certainly are outside the ethereal sea, unless you just take that to be a philosophical point that doesn't have any basis in fact. But I think within the lore of within the world of 14, I would take Sadhu's tribe at their word as being real, that belief has a legitimate founding in terms of the way souls work for that tribe. So this doesn't seem super far removed from that. Perhaps more shocking is that the technology to achieve all this was developed hundreds of years ago. The civilizations in the reflections are surprising indeed. It really is interesting stuff to me. While we all have our thoughts on souls, for now the important thing is we know what powers Zoralja has at his disposal. It's one thing to separate corporeal ether from incorporeal ether, but to strip memories from the soul entirely is unprecedented technology. This is no longer only Tuliyolal's concern. With his newfound powers, Zoralja has become a real threat to the entire world. Indeed, he has to be stopped no matter the cost. Zoralja, whatever the possibilities of this... Ooh. Achievement unlocked, really? 0 souls. Souls has been added to the codex. Okay. It's whatever you believe about the possibilities of its ethical practices and ethical applications of the regulators, it's... like, if he's in charge, those don't exist. Where was this? Logs? Collections, right? Collection. I'm a little sad that Zero doesn't have her hat. I get that this is her new form. The hat was cool. She should get the hat back. Souls. Within all beings, whether it be man, animal, or even plant, does ether flow. The spark which grants life to the lifeless. Conversely, death can be said to occur once ether has left a corporeal object. From this, it's clear to see why many scholars use the words life and ether interchangeably. So man, animal, plant all have ether flow. And so... okay, next, gotcha. The ether of the living can be broadly divided into corporeal ether, one's vigor or life force, and incorporeal ether, the soul. So life force is corporeal ether, soul is incorporeal ether. If you have corporeal but not incorporeal ether, you're living but you have no soul, you're a zombie. If you're incorporeal, but if you have incorporeal ether, you have just your soul, you're you, but you have no body, you're a ghost. Gotcha. An individual's memory is inscribed upon their soul's ether, so it could be on either of those. It could be on... No, it's just on the incorporeal ether. So memory is a part of incorporeal ether, but not corporeal ether. It's further theorized that memories associated with stronger emotions like regret are more likely to persist. Right. When a living creature perishes, its corporeal ether remains in the physical world where it's consumed by predators, circle of life stuff. Incorporeal ether is returned to the ethereal sea. And they await rebirth as a new... Never mind. So I take it back. Wait, no, I don't take it back. Does Team Sadu, does Sadu's group have... Do they claim to have the memories? Or do they just claim that whenever their soul is washed clean and reborn, it's returned to the tribe, essentially, for another go-round? I'm not sure. Okay. I haven't come to any conclusions about it. It's just interesting to keep this all in play. So, yeah. Okay. Tender shortcake, layered with whipped cream and sliced nopala tender tunas. This light and fruity dessert is the perfect summertime treat. Tunas has got to be a different term than I'm thinking of. Like, a cake with a can of tuna, like, built into it's disgusting. Huh. I'm Googling this. This can't stand. Tuna, the edible fruit of a prickly pear or cactus. Gotcha. I had no idea I had no idea that was a term used in that way. Kafkiwa, I trust you've gained insight into the use of souls in Alexandria? It's shocking, I know. I was overwhelmed myself at first. I expect you'll need some time to digest it all, but for now, let's head back to Earth and Sky. At this rate, there's something I want to discuss with everyone. Let's take a moment before we head into the tunnel. At this rate, are you worried about getting back to Catlick, that we won't have an answer in time and that he's just going to make a move on to destroy the city? That Zoraljah's going to just think we're moving too slowly? I'm sorry for delaying us, but I have some thoughts I need to share. In both technology and values, plain there's a wide gulf between Tuliyollal and Alexandria. And while Zoraljah knows everything about us, we hardly know anything about what he's become. Indeed, we haven't even seen what lies within that enormous tower Everkeep. So I'd like to make a proposal. That is, we work with Kafkiwa and her people. We need to learn as much as we can about the enemy. The quickest way would be to join hands with Oblivion. We've only just met them, I know, and we shouldn't be too quick to trust, but the fact remains that they share our desire to stop Zoraljah. Sphene, too, claims to be at odds with the King of Resolve. May I ask why you would cooperate with Oblivion instead? It's simple, really. Their leader is Erenville's mother. Meanwhile, whatever Sphene may feel, she's a ruler of this nation. There's a greater risk in working with her, and less reason to take her at her word. That is an incredibly well-reasoned, logical approach to this, Wuklamot. You got a little Kona in you after all. Not that... Of course she's logical. Of course she's a reasonable person. It's just something about this strikes me as, like, especially canny in a way I don't often see from her. That doesn't often get the spotlight from her. A fair point. And knowing Zoraljah, we must assume that his arrangement with Sphene was not made without some consideration. All I know is that it would be heartening to have allies in this strange realm. I think everyone would agree that any help we can get would be welcome. Hold on, there's no guarantee that it's actually my mother behind the machine. Without seeing her in the flesh, we can't rule out the possibility of a ploy. Even Zoraljah isn't evil enough to develop, like, those, what do you call it, those, deep fakes. But maybe. If it turns out to be a trap, we endanger not only ourselves, but everyone in Tulhiolol. As you say, we can have no proof that it's really Kafkiwa, but I make my full proposal in full awareness of this. Yeah, you gotta make a decision. Time is running out. You're gonna have limited information. Whether we're going to war or striving for peace, we need to learn as much as we can. Otherwise, we can't hope to do anything meaningful. As it stands, we know too little about this realm. We need to remedy that. We need to study the enemy, and when the time comes, strike down Zoraljah for good and all. What's more, I trust you, Erenville. You've always had great instincts, honed from your time training under your mother. What if I'm wrong? What if the sentiment is clouding my judgment? If it's a trap, we'll deal with it when it's sprung. I trust you as well. Yeah, if it's a trap, we'll deal with it. Again, limited information. I trust your instinct to the extent you can, but if you're being tricked, that's okay too. That's always the way of it with you. Fine, if you're set on this, then I will say no more. Then it's settled. Let's head inside and secure ourselves some new allies. There was an interesting comment from... I'm watching as Wuklamot continues to take center stage. There's an interesting comment from a Proustian that some people might not like Wuklamot because she kind of takes over from us as the protagonist. And I don't want us to just be a silent partner, but I think there's a lot of value in that because we're necessarily a silent protagonist. One player's Warrior of Light may be in their headcanon a egotistical jerk. For us, you know, we're a little bit, you know, I don't know, a little bit like spicy, but like ultimately pretty noble and friendly and kind of a generic good guy. And because of that, because you want to give the player freedom, you have to make the Warrior of Light kind of a bland character. And so putting someone like Wuklamot in the center stage adds a lot here. Kafkiwa. Kafkiwa, there's something I need to tell you and your people. We came here for no other reason than to strike down Zoraljah. The eyes. But I thought he was your brother. Do you really mean to kill your own kin? My kin invaded our nation and murdered our people. As Valve resolved, it falls to me to bring him to account. I'm prepared to do what I must, and I won't hesitate when the time comes. Like us, you and yours oppose Zoraljah. In light of this, I propose that we work together to stop him once and for all. The face! I realize this is sudden, that it's a gamble to trust someone you've only just met. I would trust in the conviction of anyone who shares my goal, so fight with me, I beg you. As you say, our goals align, and I don't doubt your resolve in the least. If you hadn't proposed working together, I would have done so instead. Truth be told, it's been tough going at it alone. While we've had gathered ample intelligence... Sorry, my eye. Cat fur in the air, still flying. We don't have the strength to take decisive action. Besides, how could we not trust you? Your fussy little bun... Yes! My only son is with you, my fussy little bun. He's all the reason I need. There's got to be some free companies out there called fussy little buns, right? Then it's decided. Here's to a fruitful collaboration. Thank you, Kavkiwa. Everyone. Together we'll achieve great things, I'm sure of it. Then let's not waste any time. We've been wondering about Zoralja's whereabouts. Is there a palace inside that tower? After a fashion, the king resides on the uppermost level, but while Queen Sphene has a penchant for going out in public, he seldom shows himself. What's more, his movements are highly classified. Not even his commanders are privy to that information. If anyone knows where he is at any given time, it could only be the queen. Even if we don't know his whereabouts, Zoralja will eventually march on Tuliholal again. That's when we can go after him. The drawback is we'd have to wait for the invasion to happen. Innocents would be put in harm's way. There's also the possibility that he'll leave everything to his minions and not command the army in person. That seems like a really small possibility. But maybe he also doesn't want to face murdering people he knows and feels like he ostensibly wants to teach the value of peace to. The most ridiculous motive ever still, until we get more about it. No, he'll take the field. What makes you so certain? My brother has always yearned to surpass our father. That's why he attacked Tuliholal. After waiting for 30 years, the first thing he wanted to do was demonstrate his newfound strength. But killing Papa didn't satisfy him, so now he's bent on proving himself stronger than me and Kona, who bested him in the right of succession. He challenged me to strike him down. He wants a duel to show everyone that he's superior to the Dawn Servant, and he won't let his minions deprive him of that pleasure. Then why hasn't he appeared and given you your chance? Surely he's aware of our presence here. At that I can only guess. Perhaps he wants to dazzle us with his wondrous realm, but if he won't deign to appear, then we'll force him to do so. I'm surprised. I mean, I'm glad, but I thought we were going to just bust our way into Everkeep as the next dungeon, Everkeep Unlocked, but there's so many. I mean, that still could be. Even as we gather intelligence, we make no move to attack him. Show absolutely no interest in a confrontation. Get him salty as heck. Knowing him, he'll tire of waiting and turn his attention to Kona instead. He'll attack Tuliholal like he said he would. I see. If you believe this is the best approach, then we have no objections. Any campaign against Tuliholal requires that Zoralja lead his forces through Vanguard. We'll have lookouts keep an eye on it night and day. Such a strategy is certainly viable. If we're proceeding with it, though, we should warn those outside. Indeed, they'll need time to prepare their defenses. I should be glad to coordinate our efforts. I'm already in contact with Ishtola, and we'll make sure to keep our comrade apprised of developments. You can leave Vanguard to us. We'll send word at the first sign of movement. It seems we have a plan. While we wait for Zoralja to move, you do well to prepare for battle and it begins with familiarizing yourselves with the technology that empowers him. To that end, I'll show you to Oblivion's main headquarters. Oh, I thought it was this place. You'll be impressed to know that we're located right inside that tower in the residential district of Solution 9. Wonder why it was called that. Hiding a tree in the forest, as it were. The only question is how to get you through the checkpoint. I'll bet Sphene could help with that. Yeah. About that. Sphene said she could make it so we could enter without issue. She did? Curious. She's not supposed to have such authority over the sentries. Oh, God. Yep. Sphene trust level is slowly plummeting. If I recall correctly, her words were that she would register us as guests. I see. Perhaps we're in the clear then. Trust level is continuing to decline. It's going down into Death Valley. It's not quite Death Valley yet, but it's certainly at sea level. When you're ready, come and meet me at the tower entrance. Hey, before you go out, give us a moment to introduce ourselves properly, eh? After all, names are good to know when working together. Yes, they are. Are you like geode quartz and... Are these the crystal gems? Nostalgia. How do you not trust nostalgia? Actually, no, never mind. Nostalgia is the worst thing to trust. Nostalgia is the thing that makes me think that, like, I don't know, that Turok Dinosaur Hunter on N64 was a fun game. Geode, while Oblivion has operatives all over, we're the main crew here. I'm Geode, leader of this hideout. And the dependable young twins behind me are Nostalgia and Wayakwe. I'm Nostalgia, it's a pleasure to meet you. My sister and I were born and raised inside the barrier. We've been with Oblivion for 3 years, and our main duties are surveillance and provisioning. Twins, eh? That explains the resemblance. Wayakwe is a Tonawautan name, unless I'm mistaken? Well, that's right. Our mother is Tulihiolan and our father is Alexandrian. They wanted to honor both cultures. Nostalgia is an Alexandrian name, really? They're beautiful names. They're a weird name. Nostalgia is... I don't know. Oh, sorry. Thank you. I have no memories of my mother. I'd like to think I carry a part of her with me. So did you only recently take off your regulator, or did you... she died when you were too young? So what made you decide to join Oblivion? We wanted to avenge our father. Was he killed by Zeralja? Ambrose was his name, and years ago he was taken away after a scuffle with a soldier over a disagreement. It was a minor incident, so at first we clung to the hope that he'd be released, but when months went by with no word from or about him, we made the decision to remove our regulators. We'd already lost the memories of our mother. Yeah, so it was the regulators that took her. We don't want to lose those of our father as well. They've all forgotten about him now, everyone who had known him. That bastard! Even here, he thinks nothing of his own people. Sometime later, we were approached by a member of Oblivion. Hoping to get justice for our father, we joined the Order. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to darken the mood. No, I appreciate you sharing this. Together we'll avenge your father. Thank you. Something tells me you have what it takes. You introduce yourself too. Go on. It's pretty much the same story for me. That's how it is with twins usually, right? They all have the same story, same personalities. Knowing one is basically like knowing the other. And while mine is a Tonawautan name, I haven't the faintest how things are outside the barrier. It's my dream to go and see it with my own eyes, our mother's homeland. Once peace is restored, you must come and visit. The wilds are beautiful, the food delicious, and everyone's so nice. You'll love it. And that's us. You'll meet the other... Are you that... I'm assuming these are like the main characters, but there's a bunch of others up in here. You'll meet the others in the back room. That's our headquarters. Some of them are a little eccentric, but they have good hearts out. They have good hearts all. Ah, Alaneshpia. One last thing. It isn't exactly my place to say this, but thank you for seeking out Kavkiwa. She talks about you so much. It's clear how important you are to her. Shocked, happy Aaronville. I'll take it. That's all. Be good to your mother while you still can, eh? Well, we'll let you go now. Feel free to use this hideout as you like. Give me my tender shortcake. Tender shortcake. Meanwhile, in Everkeep. That's right, Zeralja. You got the Asian music. Deal with it. This has got to be at least partially inspired by San Junipero, right?
You've been consulting with Wook Lamont.
Like the visual of that? At least a little bit. Probably a lot.
No matter. I do not know what you are scheming.
My trust for Sphene is going up the hill now. It's taking the long, tiring walk up those San Francisco streets.
But when your realm lay on the brink, you were powerless. You had no choice but to turn to me. Whatever sentiment you may feel for her, it is my power you require. Is it not?
Hold on. Whatever sentiment you feel for her. Her being Wuklamot?
Perhaps. And yet, knowing the love that Wuklamot bears for her people, how she regards them all as kin, I cannot help but wish to spare her the same pain I have suffered. What's more, her friends possess new knowledge. Were we to work together, we might find another path.
So there's some greater threat in play here in this world that we haven't seen yet. That Zoraal is fortifying her against, and that she's basically giving up the city's path in trade for. Probably obvious prediction. Zoraal is not going to be the final boss.
I know you're loath to consider it, but
I don't think so.
is there no hope for peace with Tuliolo? What we've already done may be unforgivable, but it needn't continue. You needn't kill your brother and sister.
I slew my only flesh and blood. Yet you attempt to sway me with an appeal to family. The memory of my father's final moments still fills me with disappointment. Age came for him before I did.
Boy, you suck quite a lot,
For
Zoraal, don't you?
long years, I sought to prove the miracle. And weak as he was, defeating him achieved nothing.
I don't know what sought to prove the miracle means yet. Does it mean sought to prove that he was the miracle? That even though he wasn't a two-headed lizard person, that he was still a miracle? Like that he had that strength and deserved to be Dawn Servant? Is this pure bitterness at this point? Pure salt?
To kill them is my only recourse. Wuklamot and Kona, who bested him as he was in his prime.
Just go to Mamuk and talk to, oh my gosh, just talk to, yeah, just go to Mamuk and see if you can get a reset on their little, on their video game.
They are still your siblings, even if not by blood. That such bonds should mean so little to you.
Yeah. I mean, he has very, what's his name? Combat sexual guy. The guy who, Xenos. He has, God, even Zoraal. Zoraal and Xenos are very similar in this. All about the combat. Can that be it? No, he was about peace. He wasn't just about the hunt, but as is now, it seems like he's abandoned that, like, flimsy little motive. But maybe not. There's so much they're leaving vague here.
I am bound to no one. Serve none save myself. I made that clear when first you spoke to me in the Golden City.
So she was the one who invited this guy in, who invited Zoraal in. Sphene was. But there's some other threat that she invited him in to fight? I have to go back and watch that scene again.
Remember, I can easily kill your beloved family. If you would protect them, cast aside any foolish notions.
So is killing her family like destroying the cloud storage here, maybe?
Your wisdom and abilities are valuable insofar as our goals align. So think well before you act, Queen of Reason. Uklamat, if you are father's worthy successor, then you will find your way to me. But should you fall short, I will lay waste to Tuli Yolal.
It is also possible that
What
the final
now?
the final boss isn't necessarily a third entity, but will be some evolved version of Zeralja. Like I am taking all the powers of the internet into my brain, and now that is I am I'm cyber Zeralja. It could be something like that. Zeralja Prime. Just pay $15 a month and you get to fight the real Zeralja. All right, I think I'm actually going to call it for here. I know I only got through 2 quests, but this was this was a lot. This is a lot today. No, I'm gonna leave it here. I've been playing for about an hour and 15 now. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this as they come out, and I'll see you in probably where we're gonna go to Solution 9. Bye bye.